I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Oh, yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. So I was going to start with Film Seal made a list of the top 10 actors to have never won an Oscar. So I thought it might be fun if I go through the list and then you tell me a role you think they should have won an Oscar for.
Is Sigourney Weaver on that list?
Can we just go through the list?
Okay.
Jesus. Jesus.
Because she's not on that list. Throw that away if she's not on it.
Someone come get this man. I'm sick and tired and sick.
Take them away.
Okay, number 10, Amy Adams.
Amy Adams. Yeah, I think, I don't know. She's been nominated like 5-6 times, right? American Hustle comes to mind because I really liked her in that.
Number 9, Sigourney Weaver.
Number 9, who wrote this? Talk to their manager. Sigourney. Well, she should have been Oscar nominated for Map of the World and Death and the Maiden.
What do you think she should have won for?
Of the 3 that she was,
it doesn't have to be those though. Is there a role you think she deserved better?
Death and the Maiden.
Oh, yeah.
Aliens. She should have won. I mean, we gave it to Marlee Matlin, first time a deaf woman won, so great.
Oh, God,
but
okay.
Aliens, Gorillas in the Mist. I still don't know why Gina Davis won for Accidental Tourists over her in Working Girl, but whatever.
Number 8,
The Ice Storm. Anyway,
okay. Number 8, Adam Driver.
Adam Driver. Marriage Story.
Number 7, Bill Murray.
I guess it would have to be Lost in Translation.
Number 6, Edward Norton.
American History X.
Number 5, Sir Ian McKellen.
I guess he should have won. Well, Gandalf and Thou Shalt Not Pass. But he's got a lot of good stuff. I'd have to think more about him.
Number 4, Scarlett Johansson.
I don't think she needs one. But again, I think Marriage Story was nice. She did just fine in that.
Number 3, my friend Tom Cruise.
Tommy. I don't think
they should just give him an honorary.
I don't know that he needs one
Academy Award
either. But I guess he was nominated for Magnolia and Born on the 4th of July. I guess one of those.
Number 2, Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, he doesn't need one either. Brokeback. Donnie Darko.
And number 1, Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah, it's sad that Willem doesn't have it. Shadow the Vampire would have been a great win for him, but have you seen Platoon?
I don't think so.
Oh, he's pretty damn good in Platoon. And did they not nominate Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things over him? Because I thought he was excellent in Poor Things as well.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of like him better than you just saw The Florida Project, which he was nominated for, and he lost to Sam Rockwell. And I love Sam Rockwell too, but I don't like 3 Billboards. I don't like that film. Anyway.
Noted. All right. Quentin Tarantino revealed that he thinks Hans Landa is the best character he's ever written.
From Inglourious Bastards?
Yes. Played by
Christoph Waltz.
And apparently...
Who I think is gay in that.
Oh. Apparently Tarantino almost canceled the movie because he couldn't find the right actor to play him. Then a week before pulling the plug, he found Christoph Waltz.
A week before. What a drama queen. A week before I had to cancel my life, I met Christoph.
Okay. People were sending me things about Erik and Lyle Menendez being denied parole. I'm not sure why, except that we reviewed that Ryan Murphy Netflix
along with everybody else. But
but I don't have an opinion. I mean, they've been in prison for how long now? 38 or 35 years, whatever.
Well, if only Mr. Murphy's series had come out a year before it did, and we haven't been shackled by this current administration. I was very involved in the case and watching documentaries and of course that Netflix thing. So, but my memory is bad, so I don't fully recall the details. I don't think that those men needed to kill their parents. No.
And they laid in wait, which is like the worst, right? Like, I mean, that's premeditated murder. So these people are dangerous towards, I guess, people who don't give them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think if they would if they were released, they'd be a danger to society. No. I mean, they'd have such a magnifying glass on them, but I don't know. You know what I think is, someone needs to make a movie about parole boards, because I bet those people, especially with these more high profile cases, I know that they eat that shit up, that they think that they are like that damn counsel and that Jennifer Lopez movie, This Is Me Now.
Oh God, that's where your mind went. That trash.
But like this idea that like there's like this group of people who have the power to give someone their freedom is like
the Albert Brooks film Defending Your Life, where you have to when you're trying to get into heaven.
To me, I mean, I guess my thought would be, are you a danger?
Well, right.
To people,
are they rehabilitated?
Or like a risk to society? I don't know what rehabilitation means. Like that's like, it's not like, can we get you to quit smoking? It's not that. It's like you planned to murder your parents and did it. Is that something that you plan to do? I mean, do I think that you would plan to kill other people?
If you give more parents?
No, but someone who has brutally sexually assaulted 12 women, do I think that they need to be out in the streets? Probably not. I mean, I don't think that that person has shown that they have issues, but I don't know. My personal thought about being punitive is like, I mean, do we really? I don't know. I don't know. People do, it's not fair. There are people who kill people and then it's deemed a different category, like a crime of passion, and then they get. I was just listening to a true crime story where, I thought they should have thrown the book at this person, and they got 12 years. So it's like, I don't know. Some people kill people deliberately and spend a decade in prison, and then some people are locked up for 70 years. I mean, they literally die in prison.
Yes.
Spend their entire life. But then, of course, loved ones of the victim will say, well, they took their life, so they don't deserve. I don't know. I've never had anyone I care about be murdered. I do know that if someone did murder you or my mom or my sister, I don't know that I would have that in my heart to be like, my life's mission is to make sure that this person never gets out of prison. Mm-hmm. If they're dangerous, maybe, like if it's a serial killer who killed you, yeah, but.
Well, that notion of that kind of justice, it keeps you in a sunken place as well.
But I got off track because it's like, from what I remember, the dad, like, these weren't like the most loving, kind parents, and the dad like had created an environment where these kids
brutally murdered them.
Well, but also it's like, they just wanted the money. Well, yeah, but also these parents sort of dangled money in front of them. Like, the dad used it, I'm sure, as a way to control those kids. And so, it's not like if I planned to kill my mom for some money, it's like, well, like that wouldn't even make sense. And also, I wasn't raised to, like, money covet. Wasn't that, I didn't covet money in that way. Mm-hmm. But not that they deserve to be murdered, but it's just a very different environment. And so, I don't know. These men should definitely have spent a lot of time in prison, and I don't feel bad for them for not getting out. But if they did get out, I wouldn't be mad either.
No, but it's very political. I mean, the whole reason that even came about was that was a political move.
So
that became a possibility even. But of course, again, changing the guards, and that looks like it's been shot down now.
So for all the people who sent these news stories, I hope they're satisfied with our response.
You mean I can't meet Lyle one day?
Yeah. Well, wait, which one is the one?
Who has the hair plugs? I don't remember.
Lyle.
The bald one.
Although now, well, I don't know. That's not appropriate anyway. Ooh. Well, I was going to say which one's like more appealing, but
for what purpose?
But yeah, like for what purpose? Mm-hmm. I think they're both like nice looking, like middle-aged men, I think, from what I recall.
They sound like fine, upstanding citizens in prison.
Mm-hmm. And then we got a lot of messages about Lil Nas X.
Oh, poor. Yeah, I already forgot about that.
So the new news is that apparently, because, for people who don't know, he was arrested and then hospitalized. He was out in the Valley in Studio City on Ventura, which is funny because right when I saw this news, we had just talked about, we were in that area that day.
That's right.
Because we saw the roses.
Yeah, in the Disney lot.
Mm-hmm. And we were thinking, where do we want to eat? Which we'll talk about in the restaurant section. Oh, yeah. But you had mentioned this Irish pub we like that's close to where he was
strutting,
but he was in some boots and his tighty whities strutting, clearly, having some sort of episode and probably on drugs.
A publicity episode.
But the new thing that I saw that posted on TMZ this morning is that footage shows that he was totally nude when the cops confronted him. Oh. So he had taken off his underwear.
Well, I was going to say those underwear looked white at least, so good.
And then I had noticed on his Instagram, like a couple of days before, he had made like a dozen posts, and it was all what I'm assuming is his house in the hills. And it looks like he has a lot of stuff piled up. It looks disheveled, and he looks kind of off, and he posted stuff about like I'm going crazy. And
is he having an Amanda Bynes thing happening?
Unfortunately, for people who are genuinely going through tough times, I'm so damn cynical. I don't believe anything anymore. I just don't. I think everything's marketing. I think everything's PR. The amount of press he's getting off of this incident is worth like millions of dollars.
I hope it's not, because it's like a queer brown person. Like, I hope it's not fake.
But if it's not, then it's like, I'm concerned for his mental health. I would assume maybe drugs were involved, and in the gay community, drugs are a big part of it's just a big part of.
What were we watching? And she's
socializing.
I dry out on Tuesdays. Honey, don't. He needs to dry. He needs to dry out this week.
But I don't know. I don't know if what we saw the days leading up to this were like a cry for help, or if this is. I just, it's always so interesting that it's like, oh, someone had a thing happen, and then a week later it's announced that they're going to be on Dancing with the Stars, or, oh, my new album, I attempted suicide, and a week later I'm doing press for my new album. And it's like, oh, that's, I don't know.
Like Woody Allen, you molested my daughter. No, I'm marrying your other one.
It's all very, in this modern era, I just don't trust anything. Of course, if he's going through a hard time, I hope he gets better.
Yes, of course. But
because a few months ago, wasn't he hospitalized because he half his face was paralyzed? And
was it? Oh, I don't follow.
You remember that? He posted a video where it looked like Bell's palsy, and I don't know what. I didn't follow up, but it's also, he's young. He's 26.
He's young. Yeah.
He's like famous off of this one song that was like a global hit, and then had all this like that one video with him dancing with the devil, and it just, I'm sure he got a lot of negative energy thrown his way on top of being really famous, and and then to be so young and gay and brown, and I think there's not a lot of people, black and brown people, feel like they have to fit in, like,
yeah,
especially if they're like, I'm assuming he's around a lot of white people and like white gays, and I don't know anything about this young man, but I can speak to I can see how being a queer person of color and feeling like you need to fit in. And I think just from my own experience and watching people, it's like a lot of people do things that maybe don't sit right with them because they want to be a part of something. And I'm very grateful that I didn't fall into that trap, which is why I'm a lonely, bitter man today. But at least, no one's ever caught me on the street having a mental breakdown, but
not in public, at least.
Not in public.
Well, and the black community, because of that song and that video, kind of came out strong against him.
Yeah.
So, that kind of drives people into the arms of other communities. But remember, because wasn't he completely locked out of the BET Awards?
Was he? All I remember about that is that one woman on the red carpet at the BT Awards, he asked, like, what do you think of my outfit? And she's like, we're not going to go there, or something like that. He was on this lavender sort of like flowy thing, which he kind of looked, I thought it was kind of fierce, but.
Yeah, and I don't think it's the gay thing. I think it was he was, seen as anti-Christian. So
but,
that community is like,
I'm actually not, like, I obviously know who Lil Nas X is, and I know a couple of those songs, but I really am not that familiar with him. I've seen him speak a couple of times, and he seems like a nice guy.
He does.
Who just had this meteoric rise to fame. And, he is very young. And to have access to a lot of things because of fame and money, it's... I mean, I know regular people twice his age who don't know how to act. So imagine being him. You can't blame people for having these meltdowns sometimes. It's just, if it is real, I hope he gets the proper care and rest and all that. But again, I hope the people who sent all those news stories are happy with our response. Okay, moving on to 5 on the black hand side, 5 black filmmakers who are not Tyler Perry. Who's first?
We got Hondo, who is a Moroccan filmmaker. I believe he won Locarno for, I think his best known film is called Oh Sun, or Soleil O. And Sarah Unya is another big one from him. And there's one, he directed a film, I can't properly say the name of it, but it sounds interesting, called Arabs and N-Words, Your Neighbors.
Oh, I saw that.
I was like, look at this title.
Like, what in the world?
I'm familiar with Oh Sun, but I did not know about that, but might have to find a copy of that. Interesting. Next on my list is Souleymane Cissé, who just died this past February. He was 84. He was from French West Africa, which is now Mali. And his biggest film is Yeleen. It's about a young man with magical powers, and he's I think he has to go find his uncle to combat his evil father. I haven't seen that. That sounds fascinating. He had another film in the early 80s called The Wind, and also Bara. I'm probably mispronouncing a lot. I haven't seen any of these films by him, but because this was a crazy week. Usually for this section, I try to at least watch 1 or 2 films from the people we highlight in this section, but it's been a crazy week. Next, I have Safi Faye, who also died relatively recently. She was 79, and she was from Senegal. And her biggest film is called Mosaine.
Okay.
Which I also haven't seen, but about a 14-year-old girl, I think, being married off. Next, I have Rosie Mbakam, who is from Cameroon. And I am familiar with her. I reviewed her last documentary, Mambar Pierrette, which I do recommend, and it's about this seamstress mom and kind of her daily activities having to work. And then lastly, I have Naliah Jefferson, and she has a documentary called Vanishing Pearls, the oystermen of Pointe-à-la-Hache, probably butchering that too, in Louisiana. And it's documenting this kind of Louisiana Gulf community, this oyster that depend on oyster fishing, and how they kind of really struggled after that big BP oil spill.
Oh,
back in, remember the Deepwater Horizon?
Well, thank you for that. Okay, moving on to the restaurant section. So we ate at Jin Jin Korean Barbecue, which is in Koreatown. And I liked it. I thought the food was very good, but the main thing I wanted to point out is they had something on the menu called corn cheese.
They did have corn cheese.
And I wonder if is that
Korean?
Like a staple in the Korean culinary lexicon? I don't know. But it's exactly what it sounds like. It was roasted sweet corn with cheese on top, and it was served on like one of those fajita plates, so it was like sizzling hot. It's of course very good because it's just sweet corn and cheese. But I think that's such an interesting side item to have at a Korean barbecue restaurant.
We could make that here.
I don't know that I need to be eating corn cheese on any frequency, but it was very good, and I did like that restaurant.
I did too. Actually, we first tried to go to, and I still want to go, but I guess it's not the place to go on the weekend. It's called Castle Barbecue,
which is an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue place that is in a plaza that is not very appetizing. But apparently this place has like fabulous ratings. Very busy.
The parking lot, because it shares the parking lot with a 7-Eleven.
And some crackheads.
Well, yeah, and pimps and prostitutes.
I'm sorry, drug addicts.
Allegedly. I couldn't believe how packed in those cars were in this itty bitty little parking lot, and there was a line to get in. And we were like, "Oh no, I'm not going to wait in line for all you can eat." Then
the other thing is like all you can eat. I don't know. I buffet style anything is not.
I don't want a large audience when I'm packing it in.
Yeah. So we were in Beverly Hills to see. What did we watch?
What did we watch? Oh, we had a double feature this week.
When we went to Sweet Beverly.
Yes, that was between the
Yeah, where were we? Or what did we see that day? I guess I could look on my
the day after. It was the day after Splitsville, and we saw Honey Don't and what was the earlier
Eden?
one? Eden, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and Sunset. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so then...
No, I packed lunch that day. So it wasn't...
Yeah, what did we... Anyway, it doesn't matter. We were in Beverly Hills to see something. And there's this area that it's right next to Rodeo Drive, like Pretty Woman Rodeo Drive. It's called Beverly Hills Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a beautiful like hotel and then other businesses. But then in the middle of like this sort of hotel business park, there's like an actual park. And there are several like cafes and restaurants that line like the causeway or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we tried this place called Sweet Beverly. And I just have to say, this whole like...
That's what sounds like a drag queen's name.
Sweet Beverly. This whole like, I have to tip you before I even get my food or any service drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Because the food wasn't cheap, what we ordered.
No.
So then it's like you tip $20 and it's like, I don't even know. And then of course we got shit service. The man working was like lobotomized and then he just looked like he was not even there or cared.
Well, I was like, do you give me my drinks first? He's like, nah. And then when I went to get the food, I'm like, the drinks aren't in here. Oh.
Then he's like, because we ordered like a pizza, a burger wrap, some crepe.
Was that a pizza?
Well, we can talk about it, but he goes, well, the pizza takes 10 minutes. Okay, so we go sit our dumbasses down and we're just sitting there and 10 minutes turns into 15, turns into damn near 20 when he calls your name.
Mm-hmm.
And you go up there and of course he doesn't think to give you drinks and they just handed you the food.
Yeah.
Like here
you go.
Like, okay, can't really carry all this, but okay. No tray, no nothing. And then, okay, so the burger wrap actually was kind of good.
Yeah.
And then it came with fries that I thought were good. The crepe was like this, I don't know what that was, like brown butter.
Your dessert?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a dessert crepe. It was fine.
It's fine.
But then this pizza...
They're advertised as thin pizzas, which I knew was probably going to be a problem in my mind.
You know what it tasted like to me? What's that health food brand?
Amy's.
If like an Amy's frozen pepperoni thin crust pizza that someone microwaved.
That should have
and didn't follow the instructions.
Deeply discounted.
Yeah.
Amy's. That back when we first looked for our when we were home shopping for our first house, so back in 2017, we had put in a bid on a place. It was somewhere in Inglewood, some neighborhood over there. And I think we felt like we might get that house. So we were like, let's go check out the neighborhood, the local grocery store. So the local Ralph's was kind of a bummer, that Ralph's. But what I remember most is they had a freezer full of Amy's, deeply discounted Amy's brand food at that grocery store. It's funny,
depending on the neighborhood you're in,
mm-hmm.
like what the CVS and the Rite Aid puts on clearance.
Yeah, it's like, oh, nobody's buying this.
Because if you're like in a fancy like white neighborhood, it'll be like the ethnic hair care products
mm-hmm.
that are on sale because no one's buying them. And then you're in the hood and it's like, oh, all the like organic vegan options are all on sale. But anyway, then we tried Tonchin, which we had been to once before. It's like a ramen place.
Yeah, we met a friend there before, and I think that was probably a year and a half ago at least, because we walked in, it was a Saturday or Sunday, and they're like, do you have a reservation? I'm like, no. And they're like, ugh. And they made us wait.
Well, that was back when I think they were popping. because
they were new.
Well, because you had said, like, let's eat there, like, later this evening. And I said, okay. So I looked to make a reservation, and they were wide open. So I thought, well, no bother, because I don't want to be stuck to a time if we can go earlier.
Exactly.
And so we just smooth walked in. I really liked what you ordered. So it's in Larchmont. It's attached to like a fancy like apartment building, but it's a cute space.
Yeah. And again, the service is fine, but it's just like, sometimes like, oh, you don't have a reservation? It's like, no.
You ordered these noodles. I think
they were spicy.
Bonbon chicken.
Yeah, that was it.
But it's chilled noodles.
Mm-hmm.
But so the noodles were chilled, but then the other items like the chicken, it tasted kind of warm to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that was really good. It was really good. And it had like a peanut, or there was some kind of nut in there, but it was very good.
Yeah, I would get that again. There are several other things I'd probably try.
And I got their spicy ramen. I liked the pork that was used, because it had the ground pork, which I like, and then it had because sometimes the roasted slow cooked pork they put in the ramen is real fatty and thick, and this one was actually like not fatty at all and really thinly sliced. And it, that big spoon they give you, that blunt round spoon, I was able to cut the meat with that big ass blunt spoon.
Oh,
like that's how tender it was.
It was like butter.
It was like butter. So I would go there again.
Yeah,
obviously, but it's not. Yeah,
it's fine.
And then we tried after the Roses, we ate at a restaurant right by Disney Studios called Sata. And it's a Mediterranean restaurant.
Sata.
I thought it was really cute.
It was cute. You like lentil soup for some reason, and that
a lot of people like lentil soup.
I don't know.
For some reason,
it just feels like struggle. I mean, because my mama makes you like that. So to me, in my mind, it's like, oh, this is kind of struggle bus food. But the sides were interesting. You got lentil soup, and that shit was some of the blandest soup I've had.
Okay, I like lentil soup. My mom will make lentil soup for me, and she seasons it. But there was no flavor. There was so little flavor that we kept putting salt, pepper, and hot sauce. I felt like I had put so much in there just to get a flavor out of it.
A tablespoon of hot sauce.
But I ordered like chicken kebab with rice, and
I felt really full after that.
We got a lot of food. Yeah. So I liked my food, and then we ordered like 3 desserts, which were okay. The prices for the desserts is what got me, because I got 3 desserts because they were not expensive. But like there was like a chocolate ganache cheesecake that I thought was quite good. Yeah, you got a mango cheesecake slice, which was
dry,
a little dry, and then I got a lemon bar, which was, the problem with lemon bars for me is I want that shit to be extra like sour lemony. And they're very rarely like, I want my like mouth to pucker when I eat a lemon bar.
I want a heart attack when I eat it.
Because otherwise it just tastes like lemony cake or something.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, but the next time I'm in that area, I'm sure I'll choose a different restaurant. But I would definitely eat at Sata again.
Well, I like lemon. I put it in everything, so.
Oh, God. Yes, you do. And then lastly, I don't know if I've mentioned Mike and Anne's before. It's a restaurant in South Pasadena. They're really good for breakfast. They have a huge outdoor patio area, and the area the restaurant's in is really cute, but it's not hectic busy. So it's a really nice place to sit. And if I haven't brought it up before, I do recommend it, but I thought I had. But the reason I'm bringing it up now is because I went this morning with my mom, and we're sitting there having a conversation. And this little white child came over, and we were sitting on the big patio, like on the edge, and I had my back facing everyone. So my mom was the one looking out to everything. And then all of a sudden, this little white child just pops up like a demon. And it maybe the kid was like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you know my mom, she's very good with children. And so she's like, hi. And this little girl's like, hi, my name is Lulu. I made this for you.
No.
And
creepy vampire.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't even look at the kid. I was just like, this is so uncomfortable for me. And then the kid had drawn like a rainbow and like,
don't take it, you'll be possessed.
And so gave it to my mom, and then my mom's talking to her, and then the girl's like, oh, you're like your dress and your ring and your hair. And then I can fully see in the reflection, because I'm facing the window of the restaurant. So in the reflection of the window,
there is no reflection.
Yeah, I can't see the little girl, but I can see her parent. No, I could see like her parents watching.
Ugh.
And my mom, and you know my mom, so she's just like, my mom loves children, and that was her career for 50 plus years, was watching children. But she's talking to this little girl, and little girl's being really sweet. And I'm so uncomfortable because I don't know why this child is next to me. And I don't know. I had 2 thoughts running through my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first one was, were these parents, well, okay, my true first thought was like, it's so funny to me because I think back to when I was younger, like in the 80s with my mom, and like the way people would talk to us, and like we were trash and we didn't belong there, and people always like, who, like,
Jesus, everywhere? What are you talking about?
Well, just like, because I don't look like my mom, and then like, but she's ethnic too, and then like, just like the reaction I would sense and the things people would say is like, you're different, you don't, like, who is this? And you know, like my mom's a very petite, tiny lady, so you know, by the time I was like probably 10, we were the same height, and but so at first I was just like, my first thought was, wow, like these white folks are getting real bold, because it also makes me think of Dave Chappelle has a thing about, like in DC when he lived there, it was like crack central, and then now it's like the white folks aren't even scared anymore. And that's kind of what I was feeling, like, wow, these little white children just walk right up to you. But the other thing I was thinking was, are these white parents, because you know, we're in South Pasadena, very nice, you know, mild area, and subsequently I saw the people leaving, and they were in their little Volvo station wagon. And then I thought, are these, oh, we're not on Patreon, I can't cuss. Are these people like using us as like
bait? Well,
not bait, like, oh, we want to teach our child about diversity.
Oh no.
So like, encourage her to go talk to these brown people.
Can I touch your skin?
I don't know. I'm sure people don't agree, but part of me felt like,
I mean, it's a thought you had. So,
well, because the reason I felt that way is because as I was watching them, they were looking like they were curious. They didn't get up and go, oh, because my first thought would be, if that was my child, knowing, you know, if we had a kid and our kid ran over to some, you know, Asian couple, or, you know, just some couple that maybe I think would feel weird, like, you know, if it was a little black kid, a little Latino kid, I think I might have felt a little less comfortable.
Well, but being gay, children make me uncomfortable.
And also being gay, yeah. But I feel like if I had a kid and my kid ran over to some random people and started talking to them, I would get up and be like, oh, excuse me, like, you know,
yep,
I'm sorry, I hope she didn't interrupt you in your breakfast, you know, have a great day. But they were watching us like ooh,
they sent their little
this is great exposure.
They sent their little emissary over.
Yeah, and I don't know.
We like your vibe.
I was very uncomfortable with this, like, for how long they let this kid just stand there and talk, and then they never came over to get her.
And then they opened a portal to hell and hopped in.
She just eventually, you know, my mom was like, okay, Lulu, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And the little girl finally walked away.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I felt like, was I some sort of like diversity hire? What is this? I'm going to get comments about this. Anyway.
Wait, your mom was possessed by a spirit now because she accepted the gift. So
I know. And, you know, she did keep that little drawing.
Oh, God.
Like, great. There is something in the Stars of This Man section. We were talking about Hotel Rwanda, and I had said, oh, you know how much I like James McAvoy. James McAvoy is not in
He's
Hotel
in Last
Rwanda.
King of Scotland.
He's in Last King of Scotland. Yeah. It's Joaquin Phoenix who's in Hotel Rwanda.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that, so.
Okay, films released we didn't cover. Nija 2.
Oh, yes. Which I know we got asked about that a lot. I haven't seen Nija. We had planned to fit this in, but you know, it just was a busy week. I still would see it at some point. It looks interesting.
Well, do enjoy.
It's the global phenom because it's the highest grossing animated film of all time.
Okay.
I sent you. There's somebody in the cast whose name is just Joseph.
Oh, hey.
Remember I sent it to you.
You did? Okay. Because, yes, you did.
Because you're like, is he famous? I'm like, I don't know. I think with a name like Joseph, you need a surname. Like, just Joseph. Okay.
And then Lurker.
This was the last film I saw in Berlin this year, directed by Alex Russell. Archie Matakew, who you might remember from Saltburn, is in it as this famous singer that ends up having a parasitic relationship with this young man that's obsessed with him, and it's becomes very toxic, and it's fine.
Oh,
if we had more time this week, I think this would have been an interesting film to review and talk about, but yeah, that came out.
And then just because we're in this section, we received so many messages about highest to lowest. Or lowest to highest.
Highest to lowest.
Highest to lowest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, excuse me, I think you forgot to review this.
No,
don't tell me what to do.
They only had one press screening that I was invited to, and we had already been scheduled to see something else.
But you also already talked about it on like whatever film festival recap we did.
It was in Cannes. I didn't.
If people want to know what you thought about it, it's in the Cannes festival recap.
I think we should still review it, but I was thinking we would do it in conjunction when it is available on streaming.
Sure. I mean, I'm not like I would watch it, but the press screening, you weren't in town, I think.
No, we had something else scheduled.
Oh, we had something else. So, you know, I mean,
I don't think it's a good film. But Apple, usually I have access to all of their library.
So when it's on Apple TV, I guess we can watch it, and maybe that can be the secret film 1 week, or maybe we make a video. I don't know.
It felt kind of out of touch in a lot of ways.
I just think it's funny that there were comments like, I think you forgot. Like,
no, certainly didn't forget.
That's about as crazy as to me as when people say they forgot to eat. I've never forgotten to eat. Okay.
No, it's not everybody. You can't do everything.
I know that I didn't watch it. I didn't forget. Projects of interest. The Young People.
Oh, Osgood Perkins. Jesus Christ, is he busy? He's got a new film. Well, he's at because was it earlier this year? The Monkey came out. Was that earlier this year?
Shock that monkey, shock him good, shock him good.
It seems like it was a different world then. Remember, we were at the screening and it was like
there was pandemonium because only Jennifer Aniston knew where to find the bananas. I don't know.
No, Maria. No, remember the heater was running full blast, or
OMG.
It felt like we were being jettisoned to hell because it was hot as.
It was really. I mean, I'm not being dramatic. It was uncomfortably warm.
We actually had to get water. We were in an oven watching The Monkey.
I was sitting there sweating
with a ton of other people in this little screening room, and which we just laughed about after. And I didn't love The Monkey, but he has a new movie coming out at the end of this year already, and now he's announced his next project beyond that called The Young People.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Longlegs made some money, so here we go.
Angel of Death.
So I just heard about this project, but it might be stalled. It's supposed to be a Polish-U.S. co-production. Nick Stahl.
Or is it Nick Stoll?
No, that's Corey Stoll and Nick
Corey
Stahl.
Stoll, Nick Stahl.
Stahl, Dermot Mulroney, Dylan McDermott.
Skolimowski.
I love Jerzy Skolimowski. Excellent. You liked his last film, EO, about the donkey?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But he's from the Polish New Wave in the 60s. I mean, he's got such a fantastic career. And there was like 17 years he didn't direct a movie. Anyway, Shia LaBeouf has been shopping around the script for a decade, and Skolimowski wants to do it. I don't know if LaBouffe is supposed to be in it, but apparently it might be stalled because the U.S. producers want Skolimowski to make some compromises. But the plot is about this Jewish surgeon who's stuck in Auschwitz, who's forced to assist Mengele. So dark shit. But I mean, anything Skolimowski does, I'm there.
Lastly, Fleur.
Oh my God. Those aren't in my notes because this came up late last night.
Breaking news.
It was breaking news. Do you want to explain it? Or should I?
No, you can explain it.
Well, I got to find out where did I send that to you?
Oh, I didn't realize that I needed to know about it. I don't even remember what it was.
It's Halle Berry.
Oh, and she's playing like a dominatrix.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, okay. And it's from the director Ellie Ferrumbi, who did Our Father the Devil, which I don't think I've seen. But Fleur is a drama about a New York housewife who flees to Paris after 30 years of marriage and reinvents herself as an upscale escort and dominatrix. With Halle Berry.
That sounds fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm extremely interested. Let me tell you that.
Oh, okay. This past week on Patreon, we've had a few things drop, like the 2021 film Boiling Point, which is a very exciting film. Woody Allen film called Mighty Aphrodite, which has a beyond belief spectacular performance from Mira Sorvino. And The Florida Project, a Sean Baker film.
And did we do Road to Perdition this week, or was that last week?
Oh, and Road to Perdition with
we have
Tom
been
Hanks.
Busy.
We've been cranking them out because
I leave for Venice on Monday.
Yeah. So if people want to give us money, they can listen to those. Unfortunately, there is an entry in the obituary section.
Yeah.
Terrence Stamp died at the age of 87. He's an English actor. I do know who this is. I think I probably know him most from The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and as General Zod from Superman and Superman 2. Very handsome.
We have a review of Teorema.
That's right.
The Pasolini film where he visits that wealthy industrialist Italian family and sleeps with every family member.
Drives them crazy.
Yep, excellent Pasolini film. I highly recommend The Limey, by Soderbergh film, which is technically, and I haven't watched in years. I didn't realize at the time I watched it that it was meant to be a follow-up to Ken Loach's film Poor Cow from the 60s. I know there's a connection there. One of my favorite supporting roles of his is also in Bowfinger. But if you haven't seen him play Toby Dammit, which is a medium-length film with Fellini, but it's also part of that omnibus film Spirits of the Dead, which also has Roger Vadim and somebody else in there that are all based around Edgar Allan Poe tales. The Hit, the Stephen Frears film from '84, is excellent. Yeah. But his Bernadette and Priscilla is iconic for sure.
Well, he will be missed, and I should catch up on some of his films I haven't seen.
Yeah, so I guess he went out on Last Night in Soho, which is not a film I liked, but he was nominated for 1 Oscar in Billy Budd, which is an adaptation, of course, of the famous queer Melville text, but this is the 60s version, directed by Peter Ustinov. So I don't think I've ever seen that, so I can't imagine it's too overt.
The secret film this week was Nick's choice, and Nick chose the 1989 American satirical black comedy The War of the Roses, directed by a Danny DeVito.
Yes, his second film he directed after Throw Mama from the Train.
Oh, okay. What is this movie about? A married couple tries everything to drive each other out of the house in a vicious divorce battle. Why did you choose this film?
Because it has been remade. And my memories of this as a child were that it bummed me the hell out. And after watching it, as circumstances had it, we saw the press screening of the remake before rewatching this, and immediately I think both of our reactions were we need to rewatch the original.
Yeah, and I also have a memory of watching this and not really knowing what I was watching, but I recall feeling like it was devastational, as Reby would say.
The centipede is hot.
And again, this episode of the podcast is Frankenstein because we're recording this portion before we record the full podcast, and we've already seen The Roses.
Yep.
But that review won't come out for like another week or so. So this will drop before our review of The Roses, even though we saw The Roses first before rewatching The War of the Roses.
Schitt's Creek.
So much going on. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I also thought we have to rewatch this film because I don't want to spoil the new one, but I had feelings about it.
Same.
And the vibe is very different. So then I'm like, am I remembering the original incorrectly?
Mm-hmm.
And I unfortunately think that the 1989 film, the memory I had was maybe inflated because of being a child. And, I mean, I wasn't fully a child. I was probably like 13 when I saw it. And then my parents were going through their own marital issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just, that's all for a young mind to process. But as a 46-year-old person who's been married for a long time, I don't know. I have a lot of issues with this story.
Yeah, as a kid, it distressed me because I was wanting it to be like Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile, with
sure,
Douglas and Turner, and DeVito was in there with them. And it is not like that. And yeah, my parents had their own extreme marital discord. So I think anything having to do with that, watching it as a kid, hit harder. But I also agree that now that I've been married myself for 17 years at this recording, I don't feel, for actually either film version, much empathy for these people in it because they are ridiculous.
Yeah. So to break down the story, if you break it down to 3 acts, it would be like this perfect couple, then the marriage collapsing, and the final act would be like warfare.
Were they ever perfect though?
I mean, I guess they had a nice, that's my biggest problem is that I just don't, we'll get into it. Anyway, so I'm very frustrated by this movie.
The thing though, that it's classified, the original, as a comedy. Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas were nominated for Golden Globes and Best Musical or Comedy. The film was nominated in the same category. This is not funny to me, not a bit. I think it's maybe a dark comedy, but it is shot like a straight up horror film. The cinematographer, Stephen H. Burham, had been working with Brian De Palma since 1984's Body Double. And it's funny because I didn't realize that on a rewatch because I'm like, there are so many of these low angles, close-ups, like weird things in the foreground, much like a De Palma film. It's because that's one of De Palma's cinematographers.
I wouldn't call it a comedy either. The new film, The Roses, is definitely a comedy.
Yeah.
In kind of the wrong ways, but again, I don't want to get too much into that. But this movie, so based on a 1981 novel by Warren Adler.
Yes, which, even though I just watched these both in succession, I think I'd still be curious about reading.
Well, I did some research on the book and how it differs from the film, so I'll get to that a little later. But, and then I do want to say that I do think the highlight of this film is Kathleen Turner. Kathleen Turner, is transfixing on screen.
Oh my God.
Like in everything I see her in.
Oh my God. I was just like, God, not that I didn't think this already, but it's like, God, I miss seeing her. It actually made me want to rewatch V.I. Warshawski or whatever that.
I would be interested in that.
Serial Mom is one of the all-time favorites. But, the title is also a play on history.
A British Civil War.
Yeah, between the House of Lancaster and York for the English.
The House of Palmdale.
Yeah, yes.
Lancaster, Palmdale. For those of you who know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the story. So Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, we meet them as college students. Michael Douglas is Oliver and Kathleen Turner is Barbara. and they look insane. The wig game is crazy. Michael Douglas is 45 in this film, and him playing a college student looks like a horror film.
Well, you said he looked like a vampire.
He does look like an old vampire.
Well, what's funny is they meet at this auction, and I was like,
and what are college students doing at an auction?
Well, that too. But he has this figurine that he wants, and she outbids him. But I think I was making jokes like, "Oh, what a young man, the young man!" And then the what do you call the auctioneer? What do you call the person? Why am I blinking on that?
I think, yeah, wouldn't they be the?
He's like, "To the young man."
Where?
Where?
I don't see the young man in this room.
That's not a young man, sir.
And then they give Kathleen Turner this blonde wig, and she looks crazy.
Well, then they're out in the rain, and I'm like, I don't think those wigs should be in the rain.
But anyway, so Oliver and Barbara meet and immediately hit it off, and I think they have like a one night stand that turns into like forever.
Mm-hmm. But she has multiple orgasms.
Yeah, she finds that out. But he is an attorney, and we see them sort of, evolve and his career blossom, and he's really career driven. He wants to make partner at a firm. And so we see her, I mean, she supports him, but not like, it's not waiting to exhale level like Angela Bassett and Michael Beach.
No, and it's not like at the extreme detriment to herself either.
No.
What I find curious is both of them seem emotionally detached from the children.
Wow, we're going to get to all of that. But so that's what I mean. Like, they kind of have a nice situation. Like, she seems to be really focused on having a nice life with her husband, raising her children. She also really has this vision of like their dream home. And then in a scene that I think is laughable is she actually has found her dream home. And so she writes a letter saying that if you ever want to sell your house, please reach out to me. Mm-hmm. And so she walks up to the front door of this beautiful manor to leave the note when the person who answers the door goes, "Oh, come on in." And it happens to be the owner's funeral. Mm-hmm. And so the granddaughter or grandniece, someone is like, "Oh, it's so sad grandma's gone and she loved this house so much. And I wish we could, like, I hate the idea of having to sell it to someone who's not going to care about it as much as she did." And then this woman tells Kathleen Turner, "If you know anyone who's looking for a house," she even mentions like, "I don't even care about how much money we get. I just want to make sure they preserve." It's just so stupid.
It is. Yeah.
And then the next scene is them having bought the house and moving in.
Yeah.
So,
and then her life becomes the house because she decorates it.
And then it seems like her entire life is the kids and decorating this house. And then Michael Douglas has made partner and is clearly, they're rich. So it seems like everything's good. Like, they don't seem to have any conflict in any way. And then one day...
Well, I wouldn't say that per se.
Well, here's my issue. The conflict doesn't warrant the conclusion to me. Like, it
no,
just doesn't...
Well...
But please, what is the conflict you saw?
Well, he is dismissive of her and thinks that he's better than her. And because there's a dinner scene with his colleagues, and that's where we meet Danny DeVito, who's at the same firm, who's being a scallywag at the dinner table, getting a foot rub, even though everybody can see it under the glass tabletop. And he basically is requiring Barbara to perform at the level that she needs to be impressive as his mate. And she fails. And
to be clear, though, and to give my boy Michael Douglas the benefit of the doubt, Barbara can't tell a story to save her life.
She's flustered, though. She's distracted by the footsie job going underneath the table, and he's already kind of signaled her. And he's made with the way his language and posture is that he's already embarrassed of her, and I think she already feels that.
Yes, that's what we're supposed to feel, but I don't get that because, first of all, like, the whole footsie shit, that's your other employee. So why do I care? Like, if Danny DeVito wants to make a fool out of himself at this dinner, that has nothing to do with me and my husband.
But I think she's also not really interested in being impressive to these people because she thinks her husband's being a fake. Because the scene after that is like she's chastising him for that fake ass laugh that he had at the dinner table. I think it's just that they are disinterested in each other, and that's it.
Right. So that's my overall feeling, is that their problems really result from like sort of being disinterested and maybe growing apart because
but he wants to own her and she wants to own the house. And so the dramatic crux of the scenario is he is putting his foot down and wanting to keep the house, because it means keeping.
Well, wait,
her.
we're getting very ahead of each other, but also,
but it means keeping her.
But I didn't get the sense he was trying to own her. I think he thought that his like happy wife, happy life, like she wanted this house and like she spends all her time decorating it, and she doesn't seem, I mean, you already mentioned this, but like she seems disinterested in the kids, which is, you know, in this movie, the kids are kind of overweight because she thinks that they should be able to eat whatever they want.
Well, yeah, because she's like, kids that don't,
if they're deprived, then they're just going to have an unhealthy relationship with it in the future, which is funny because in the new movie, that's also a plot point. And then, but in the new movie, the kids end up becoming like super athletes. But I don't know. I didn't feel like.
I think I read it as.
I thought he took her. I felt like he took her for granted.
He did.
But that's not the same as trying to own someone.
But I think that he viewed her as something he owned because when she tries to leave, he won't let it happen. And the only way he knows how to prevent that is by keeping that house.
Oh, so you think that he's obviously trying to keep the house out of spite, but you think he's keeping it because...
I think she's a trinket, just like those dolls or those figurines he collects. I think that's really how he sees her, and that she has a place and it's there.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I got more that he thought that he had made this perfect life, like how they had planned, and that he felt sideswiped by her because, getting back to the plot so I can finish it, things take a tumble because one day, like everything seemed, well, like you're right, everything wasn't perfect. You know, there are little whatevers, but, well, I guess I'm not dismissing them. They're bigger than just little whatevers. But one day, Barbara walks downstairs and tells Michael, who's like working at his desk somewhere in the kitchen somewhere working, she goes, "Oh, I just sold some pate to so-and-so and they paid me $35 in cash." And initially Michael Douglas is like, "Wait, what? You sold one of our friends pate for money?
How embarrassing."
And I have to admit, that would be like,
well,
that would be like you getting on Instagram and saying like, "Hey, I'm selling some shoes for $20. Anyone?" I mean, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you?" Oh, excuse me. Like, what are you doing? We don't need $20 to be like. So I didn't think that he was so unreasonable for being like, why would you?
I believe she said the friend offered to pay and she accepted, and it felt good. And it felt good to get cold, hard cash.
But, and maybe this is why you and I get into conflict sometimes, it's just the way she said it. Like, it would be different. It's just like the way she came downstairs would have bothered me too. Like, you see me sitting here working and you just like roll up and just make this statement. It's like, what? Since when do you sell food for money? Like, that's just so out of left field. Like, we live in this mansion. I make all the money. You have everything you want. You drive your Volvo and buy all the expensive shit.
But again, he's so detached that he's not approaching her to ask her about her day at all. So when is she supposed to tell him that? It's like, you know, getting annoyed at the dog that wants to get fed. Like,
but see, I think that's an excuse. Like, there's always time. Like, but
remember,
I do agree with you that I do think when you become disinterested and then everything just becomes routine, yeah, it does feel like.
Because take this another scenario, which is after she starts her catering job and she's asking him to review a contract to see if it's good. And
okay, yeah, I do think that he was dismissive of her little contract.
And I think that that's evidence of, like, when was she supposed to approach him? Because when she does ask him for something, he doesn't show up.
Right.
So,
well, but that's after.
No, but I think that's a pattern of behavior that was already in place, which I'm not saying that she had the best timing there, but like, I can see why.
Oh, yeah, you know. I agree. I'm pretty sure that he probably always treated her like her little womanly things, that whatever she's talking about, you know, I'm doing $1 million lawsuits and you're over here asking me about like
you're telling me about $35 pate. Like,
but I do have to say, like, in the instance of that moment, it's such a pivotal moment in the story because his reaction to her and then her saying like, "Well, I think I'm going to keep doing it." And then he goes, "Okay." Which made me feel like he's not telling her like, "No woman of mine's going to work." He literally says to her like, "Okay, we'll do it then."
No, but it's almost like that's even worse, that he doesn't care.
Yes, I definitely agree that his reaction, like, because I'm sure he didn't follow up with like, "Well, tell me, like, what's your business plan? How can I support you?"
Remember, what was that story over the dinner that she fumbles? It's about how they acquired their whatever.
Oh, their Baccarat crystal. Yeah.
Like the crystal. It's like, oh my God, who cares?
Well,
and the funny thing is that they were able to get a cheap price on that crystal because they swindled somebody into giving them
just getting a divorce. Well, but here's the thing. If you want to support your significant other, see, to me, it would be like, I would have to prime you. Like, listen, these people talk about this kind of shit. So I'm going to have to, I would prepare you.
Yeah. But see, I think by that dinner, they'd already grown too far apart.
Yes. I totally agree. The point I was trying to make is that by the time I actually get to the end of the story,
sorry,
no, because it's fun to talk about, but it's just like, by the time I get to the end, I still don't feel like, these just feel like two people who, like you said, are disinterested. He probably does minimize her value. He definitely takes her for granted. Mm-hmm. But then I don't know. She doesn't seem that interested. Like, if I don't give a shit about these kids and you don't either, I mean, like, it seems like neither really. They're just doing their thing. When we see her closet, it's like, oh, she's really just like trying to be this like rich housewife,
right? Which she's railing against also. Like,
yeah, but it's like, if that would be like, I don't know.
She's trying, because at the scene where they hire the live-in maid, Susan, played by Marianne Sagebrecht, she has that, which I think is a fantastically delivered monologue by Turner, where she's basically trying to talk herself out of hiring this woman, even though she knows damn well she's going to in that moment, about how she doesn't want to be the women that are in the same, she doesn't want to behave like the women that are in the same position as her.
Yes. And I think that's an important scene, but it just feels so like maybe we should have seen her like this anxiety bubbling over time. Like,
yes,
I don't like sitting in this house just like looking at what new shoes I can buy. I want to do something. When she says I sold the pate and it felt good to make money, it kind of felt to me like it came out of nowhere.
Well, see, I think the major flaw in this original version is the framing technique of Danny.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. So Danny DeVito, like you mentioned, is Michael Douglas's colleague, and the film is told via like a flashback, and Danny DeVito is talking to a prospective client played by the man who voices Homer Simpson,
Dan Castellaneta,
who I think never speaks.
He has no dialogue, which drove me crazy because I'd be like, if
That's
I was
Homer Simpson.
Well, I'd be like, hey man, how long is the story going to be?
Well, and I don't think it works very well because Danny DeVito says, hey, I charge like $4.50 an hour. So if a lawyer who charges $4.50 an hour wants to tell you a story for free, you listen.
But it's also like, my time ain't worth shit either.
But it's like, yeah, if I can afford $4.50 an hour, my time is valuable.
Exactly.
So can we get to the point, please? But he is recounting like sort of the story of the roses and the fatal flaw in his advice to his friend and client.
Yes.
So, okay.
But it's his, I believe, Danny DeVito's narration that kind of feeds us that. But when he tells us that, she threw her whole life into decorating this house and redoing it, but that had to end. And
let me finish this story. So the marriage is starting to collapse, and the third act, warfare, starts because one day or one night, Oliver, Michael Douglas, is at dinner with some colleagues trying to like land a client, or I don't know.
The Larrabees, that's Peter Donat.
Whatever he's trying to do.
Michael Douglas's co-star from China Syndrome.
Oh. And Michael Douglas thinks he's having a heart attack. So he's rushed to the hospital. Of course, he's afraid. And someone contacts Kathleen Turner, Barbara, to say, hey, your husband's in the hospital. And she's in the middle of doing a deal for her cake, because at this point she has a full-blown catering business.
There's a really interesting moment in that hospital scene. Do you remember when he gets checked in, and that black man who's been stabbed in the gut?
Oh yeah, and like, because Michael Douglas is clearly a person of means, he's getting care, and that black man is not.
Yeah.
And even his wife is like, I'm trying to get you a doctor, and she's like, hey, he was here first. And yeah, but we can get back to that, because I mean, I think this is obviously, well, I don't know, I didn't read the book, but it feels like obvious commentary on like marriage and divorce and like affluent and materialism.
Yeah.
But it turns out, did not have a heart attack. This man, we just recorded a Patreon where I can curse, so that's why I'm having a hard time right now. So people should pay $5 a month to hear us say the F word on Patreon. But Michael Douglas's character, it turns out he only had heartburn. But Kathleen Turner, she had left a business meeting but then never showed up at the hospital because on her way there, she had called the hospital again to get a status update.
They're like, girl, he's fine.
And they said, child, he just needed to burp. That's all. So she never showed up. She never picked him up from the hospital. So he had to take the train or bus home. And so when she finally does get home, her husband is mad. Like, bitch, I thought I was going to die. It doesn't matter that I didn't or wasn't. I thought I was, and you weren't there for me. And she's making all these excuses. And then finally, they have a playful moment where they're like, he's trying to be sexual and she's not feeling it. And then finally she admits to him, you know, in that moment when I thought you might die, I felt joy.
Well, didn't she say at first she was scared? And then he's like, oh, well, don't, you know, it's okay to be scared. She's like, no, I was scared.
I was scared because I was happy at the thought that you were dead. And so I think that we should get a divorce. And that's when all hell breaks loose because he doesn't want a divorce.
And that's where she punches him in the face.
And so thus begins the War of the Roses and the advice that Danny DeVito gave Michael Douglas that he feels was the clincher is that he finds some, like, I do think they call it a penal code because I wrote it down. But,
okay.
But he finds some whatever, some sort of like a random law that says that even though they're going through a divorce, they both have a right to stay in the house. And Danny DeVito explains that law was originally, or this penal code was originally intended for poor people who couldn't afford to like physically separate. They can still stay in the same dwelling until they can figure out what to do with it. So he tells Michael Douglas, well, if you don't want to give up the house and she won't give it up, then why don't you just move in there and then maybe you can find some resolve. And so that's what makes it worse because all they do is fight. And we can get into all the petty things they do, but ultimately it leads to them getting into a physical altercation and causes, they live in this huge mansion and they have a chandelier in the foyer that the way it's shot looks like it's 40 stories high. And Kathleen Turner ends up like sort of falling onto the chandelier. And so she's dangling. And then Michael Douglas tries to help her and then ultimately gets stuck in the chandelier with her. And of course the chandelier falls, killing both of them. But before they die, like in their final breaths, Michael Douglas reaches out to her, like, you know, like to try to hold her and maybe have some resolution, but she rejects him. She
tosses his hand away.
Which I think would symbolize a complete obliteration of their relationship.
Yes.
The end. Start talking. What do you feel about this movie? Why does it work? Why doesn't it work for you?
I think, well, again, from a perspective of being older with a little more wisdom, I feel like both these people are completely ridiculous and kind of aggravating to watch and agonizing in a way that's not enjoyable.
No.
But I find Kathleen Turner is so good in it. I think Michael Douglas just comes across like a douchebag.
Okay, I don't fully think Michael Douglas came across as a douchebag.
Really?
I think for a 1980s story about a heterosexual couple and considering gender roles, I actually feel like he was a little more sort of considerate of her than you might expect.
Sure, but he had the privilege of being I mean, these people living this kind of lifestyle at this income, they have the luxury of that too.
I think I have a big, you know, we can't talk too much about the new movie, but I think I have a bigger problem with the new movie and these people and how ridiculous they are.
Sure, yeah, I agree.
So this one works better for me just as far as like how this couple evolved.
I hate the framing mechanism. I think it feels really long until we get to the third act where things really ramp up and then it just becomes dark and morbid and literally a horror film. And I mean, the boundaries are crossed so far and so hard, that it's like there's really no coming back from them.
Well, this might be a good point for me to compare the book. Okay. So I have notes on how the book differs.
Okay.
So the 1981 book, the tone, it's more satirical and literary with a sharp focus on psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Adler, the author, leans heavily on Black comedy, but also satire of materialism and the emptiness of suburban success.
Mm-hmm.
The characters who in the book are named Jonathan and Barbara, not Oliver and Barbara. Jonathan and Barbara are drawn with more internal complexity. Their marriage breakdown is gradual, and Adler highlights their inner rationalizations, resentments, and obsessive attachment to possessions. This is what I think is missing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then the themes in the book, the destructiveness of pride and ego in relationships, the toxic attachment to material wealth, the dehumanization that comes when spouses treat each other as rivals rather than partners.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ending of the book is dark and ironic, but less cartoonishly violent than the film. Their destruction is more tragic inevitability than slapstick escalation.
Oh, see, I need to read this book.
So the way this book sounds is, I think, what I needed from this movie. Because I don't get their attachment to material wealth. They don't actually seem that greedy.
I see her talking about, she talks about rejecting it. I think Douglas, his character more so, his status and his belongings mean a lot to him. And
but to be fair, his status is related to his career.
Sure.
And we can't, I think even if you're the lowliest person working at a grocery store, you have aspirations to rise up. And I think his possessions relate to these stupid little figurines.
Yeah.
He never talks about a car. He never talks about.
Well, but think about that, because right away you're like, these $1,000 figurines, you could just go buy more of those, but it's the sentiment attached to them as well. It's, probably how I feel about these GD Blu-rays Criterion collection I have.
Okay, well, let's talk about that, because here's the thing. If we get a divorce and I just let's talk about in this film, the 1989 film, the divorce is that like the first meeting with the lawyer is that Kathleen Turner's hired a lawyer and Michael Douglas shows up to hear what the lawyer has to say. And the lawyer says, Mr. Rose, I think you're very fortunate because your wife, she doesn't want any money from you, no spousal support.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Michael Douglas's character is rich, and she doesn't want spousal support because she's making good money with her catering business. So she says, I don't need your shit. All I want is this house that I found.
That her happiness is like
that I decorated. Every bit of it is mine.
The happiest we see her is writing that note in front of her kids that are dismissive of her, saying like, this is a dream come true. And it's the only dream that came true for her, really.
So all I want is the house, or all your wife wants is the house. And she says, you can have your figurines, which is that figurine that they were buying at the auction. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know what they're called, but they just look like, whatever. You can have that. You can have your wardrobe and whatever else belongs to you. And, I won't take any money from you. So that's like the sweetest deal in the history of
divorces.
Go talk to Phil Collins,
mm-hmm.
And Michael Douglas says, no, I want the house. Okay, that's just petty.
Of course.
Because to me, because based on, that would be like, to me, if we got a divorce and I say, I don't want anything except your DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, that just feels cruel and petty.
Well, because he knows that it keeps a connection open with her, because at every turn, all of these terrible things they've done to each other, he keeps, remember, because they've already gone through some grueling things and she leaves him the note to meet in the dining room at 9 p.m. And she shows up with that pate she says was made out of the dog, though she's lying. And she asks if he poisoned the wine that he brings. Even still at that juncture, he's like, I still want to be with you.
So this is why I'm confused, because I didn't think that their issues were that bad. I mean, I don't think, I feel like these people probably should have gotten a divorce.
Yes.
But I don't think that they were in this toxic relationship until it got bad.
Well, until she said, I want to go, and he wouldn't let her.
But it's not, but I don't think that he wouldn't let her go. I felt like more like in his way, he was fighting to keep their relationship together.
Yeah, no, I agree. But in a petty, unreasonable way, because she does not want to be there and she wants that damn house. She knows damn well the house means nothing to him.
Petty in the divorce lawyer office, but not petty when she first says it.
No.
I felt like he was like, what? Wait, we can work through, what? I just thought they were so unreasonable.
They both are. Yeah, I don't think she's a hero by any means.
I wanted to, like what this thing I just read said, like a gradual breakdown of their marriage and their inner rationalizations and resentments, like
before they go all full George and Martha. Yeah.
Well, I wish they would have gone full George and Martha. They're not that clever.
No,
I do think the new movie, the wittiness between Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman is definitely more along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I felt sad for them in a way. Like, damn, this did not have to go here.
It didn't, and it's a bummer to watch. And
I also feel like all Michael Douglas's characters seem to care about are those stupid figurines. And so your wife is telling you, I don't want any of your money. You can have your dumb figurines. Why? Because then at a point, then it becomes like he's drunk with his pettiness.
Yeah. Well, when you start digging your heels in, it become like so many bad things happen. It's like, well, why give up now? Like, why relent now?
And then in the book, it says that we focus more on their obsessive attachment to possessions,
which they all destroy.
For Barbara, I don't really get the sense of what she's attached to except the house.
Well, the stuff in the kitchen, the
stove, because she uses it for. But in the new movie, Olivia Colman's character, who's also a chef, she actually buys, because her character's rich at a point, she buys
Julia original
stove. It has it put into their like multi-million-dollar mansion.
Such a dumb idea.
But in this movie, it's like we don't get any sense that stove meant anything to her, except that that's how she makes her food.
Well, the difference in it's never explicitly stated, but she's a cat person, he's a dog person. She has this huge, like cartoonishly huge truck, and he has that little, what's it called, a Morgan?
Which I don't think he actually drives.
It was the first car she bought.
It's the first car that she bought him.
But it's one of the best scenes. One of my favorite scenes is when she drives over him in the car, and that was giving me Betsy Braddock vibes, because Meredith Baxter Burney kind of does something similar.
If people haven't watched that, I think we're going to talk about it on Patreon.
Yeah,
in the movies we watch for fun. But say the name of the movie. It's a two-part.
It's a two-parter. I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head, but
her name is what?
Betty Braddock.
It's the Betty Braddock story. It was a two-part TV movie starring
Meredith Baxter Burney.
And if people are not familiar, it's entertaining.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's sad because this woman was crazy.
And that was filmed in 91 when that came out, so this predates that, but it feels like an homage to Betty.
Yeah, this did not live up to
your memory,
the lore I had in my head of like and when you said it, I think I collapsed Romancing the Stone with The War of the Roses. So I thought I was going to get something a lot more passionate and volatile. And this movie is not that. It's just kind of like this sort of unreasonable couple who for the first half of the movie seemed like they made a nice life for themselves, and then
throw it all away.
They hit a kerfluffle, and then all of a sudden it just goes batshit crazy. I will say that the warfare part of this movie, the final act, I think lives up to the name more than the new movie.
Yes, I agree.
I think the new, I don't want to say it.
And Sean Astin plays the grown-up son
in this film, the 1989 film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another scene I wanted to revisit quickly, just because I had a note about it, was the scene where she says she wants a divorce because she said that she was scared because she was happy at the thought of his death. It reminded me of this it's a very short story by Kate Chopin. It's like maybe 3 pages, called Story of an Hour. And it's about a woman who believes she gets word that her husband was shot in battle. And so she believes her husband's dead, and she locks herself in her room, and she's ecstatic. She's like, I finally get to live my life. This man is dead. And then within the hour, she receives the word that was wrong. And that's the devastating part.
The film ends with the couple dying, and then Danny DeVito finishing the story with his potential client, and then he basically says like he would encourage you to, What does he say? Because I wrote down that
to think about it.
Yeah, to think about it, and I just thought maybe Danny DeVito should just stop being a divorce attorney.
Yeah, can't you do a different?
Because he's acting like it's like the worst burden to have to do this. And it's like, well, then why don't you do something else?
He's like, you would have heard about it, but I kept it out of the papers. I'm not sure how.
I don't know. And also, there's a movie about it.
Well, but also, I guess in the 80s, not everybody was filming everything. But those neighbors and guests at that dinner party were witness to some crazy shit.
Yeah. I mean, the highlight of the final act of the film, I think, is the dinner party scene where Michael Douglas ruins her. Because at this point they're cohabitating, but there's a lot of conflict and animosity. And Kathleen Turner tries to trick Michael Douglas to leave the house for a night so she can have a dinner party for her best customers. And he shows up and is vile. He like burps, like he coughs all over the food saying he's sick. He throws his dirty tissue in the food.
Pisses on the fish.
He pisses on, like he literally stands in front of the oven and pees on the fish. And then she loses it. And like you said, runs over his car. And then we get a sequence where...
Why does she need a car that big?
Well,
I mean, it's not really a caterer's car. Like,
well, the other thing is, I feel like in this movie, I will say the dysfunction and unreasonable nature of both characters feels kind of equivalent.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas in the new movie, I feel like one of them is wrong.
Well, they're in this one. That's like they're both victims of their own excess and ennui. It's just like you all are just you're really kind of boring people.
Yeah, I feel like in this one, it's kind of like, well, because also with the car, she just says like, I traded my Volvo and got a truck. And he's like, wait, what? Well, thanks for telling me. Like, I thought you liked the Volvo. And what is this truck? And how much did you pay for it?
That has like a loudspeaker. Like, why does she need that?
And it's like, well, I also feel like, well, that's kind of because I'm sure if she would have just said to her husband, like, hey,
well, I mean,
I want something different. I feel boring driving around this Volvo. He would have said, okay, we'll find something you like. I don't know.
They're not, again, like you brought up earlier, it's rivalry. They're not communicating as
you're right,
being members of the same team.
Yes.
So that's what happens.
So I do think that this film, if someone's never seen it, it's definitely worth watching, if only for Kathleen Turner.
Oh my God, so good.
But I also agree. I think Danny DeVito as the narrator just doesn't really work.
How she looks in that little Peach number when she tries to seduce Danny DeVito.
She looks great.
And her character's a gymnast, so there's all these fabulous
scenes.
Where
she's doing like physical. I mean, I'm sure it's a stunt double, but it looks really cool.
Oh yeah, when she gets flung down the stairs and she's doing a cartwheel down it.
This movie was a hit. On a budget of $27 million, it made $160 million. It did receive critical acclaim. Roger Ebert called it relentlessly cynical.
It is cynical.
Yeah, I mean, it's cynical for sure. It was nominated for Golden Globes, including Best Actor and Actress for Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. You mentioned this already, but the way Danny DeVito chose to shoot the film, it does feel like a horror film.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially in the finale where, and it's where they basically barricade each other themselves in the house until they die.
And I think the cultural impact is significant because I mean, most people of a particular age
know this movie. Yeah.
Well, or if they have never seen it, they know that if you're referring to someone's like divorce is like the War of the Roses or something, like they know what that means. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. What would you give the 1989 film The War of the Roses?
I think I probably liked it better than you. I'm giving it a 3.
I think you did.
That's okay.
I have to admit, I was kind of disappointed. But it's okay. And I would recommend it, but I think I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 5.
That's all right.
So this week might be a little light because you'll be in Venice, Italy, not France.
That's true.
And then I know we have a review for The Roses that'll be available next week. And then I think I might be seeing something by myself next week.
Caught stealing.
Oh, with not Nicholas Hoult, Austin Butler.
The new Aronofsky film.
So maybe I'll watch that and review it by myself.
And then I'm not sure if we're fitting in Toxic Avenger. I'm looking at the releases next week, and I forgot about that.
Oh, like we would have to do it today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well,
or Monday.
It looked kind of fun.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do Toxic Avengers. What are you reading?
What am I reading? Oh, I'm finishing up. I got stalled on Pushkin, and then I'm looking at a copy of Charlie Houston's Caught Stealing, which I was going to read before we saw it, so I'll have to catch up with it later. But I'm still going to read the book. You can read on the plane.
I wanted to say I was watching a little interview with Royksop for an outlet that asks like musicians what their perfect 10 album is, and I'm probably going to butcher his name, but Sven, because I like the band Royksop and it's a duo. And the one Sven, he said that his perfect 10 album is Violator by Depeche Mode.
Oh.
And then I forgot that I really liked that album. I remember listening to it when I was younger and really liking it. And I hadn't thought about it in so long. And then he mentioned that it was very influential to him. Specifically the songwriting and the production. So I revisited it, and because I do like Royksop, and then listening to the Violator album, I could totally feel like Royksop vibes from it. The deluxe edition of the album has some like remixes that sound very Royksop to me. So I thought that was interesting. And for people who don't know, I think the most popular song from Violator is Personal Jesus. That song.
Yep, which Marilyn Manson has a famous cover of, and also Nina Hagen. Oh, we never talked about. There was a day we were driving around, and I was making you listen to Nina Hagen.
Yeah, she seems like a fun lady.
I love Nina Hagen. I don't know what was. I hadn't listened to her for a while, but reminded me of her. So I've actually had Born an XX on. Oh, because I was at a gay bar and on the dance floor, and they played Born in XX, and I was like looking around like, does anybody else know that this is Nina Hagen?
Oh God.
My favorite Nina Hagen. No, and I guess it was just for me that moment.
I was contemplating maybe ending the podcast, since we always talk about what you're reading, like, if we mention a song that we've been listening to for the week, like a new song. But then I don't know if that would work because I listen to the same music all the time.
That's true. Well, maybe that's okay. There's nothing.
Do you want to shout out a song you've been listening to?
I'm really embarrassed to say that I was listening to. It's kind of abated now, but for about 4 days in a row, I was listening to "Take Me Away" from Freakier Friday.
Take Me Away from Freakier
the
Friday.
Song that
after
Lindsay's
we watched it, I was singing it a lot too because it's catchy.
Well, the chorus is catchy. Give
us a little bit.
No, I can't do that right now.
God. Now he's shy.
The chorus is catchy, but almost anything outside of the chorus, I'm like, ugh. And Punk Rocker by the Teddy Bears, because that's the song that ends the new Superman, and I was reminded that I love that.
There's a rapper named Project Pat, and you were listening to something, and you're like, look at this song he has, and it's called Chicken Head, featuring there's a female rapper on it whose name is escaping me. I need to what is it? La Chat? Maybe that's her name?
Yes.
But that I've been listening to, but also Terrence Trent D'Arby, who has since changed his name to Sananda Maitreya, I believe. But he has a song that was very popular from that album he had called Dance Little Sister that I've been listening to. And he has such a beautiful voice. It's almost like the perfect blend of like Michael Jackson, Prince, and like James Brown. It's pretty remarkable. But okay.
And it's Le Chat because that song has also 3 6 Mafia on it. But you know what it was?
So we've been listening to Project Pat's Chicken Head. He's
got some catchy little bops.
Well, I don't know. This has gotten too long. But is there anything else you'd like to say?
I don't know.
Ta-ta.